I was born in a little village in Austria, near Vienna, called Stockerau. And I started playing the drums at age 5. I saw a drummer on television, and I was very impressed because he was the only one in the band sitting down. Everybody else had to stand up. So he seemed to be in charge, and he counted off the tune, and started the song with a big drum fill. So he seemed to be the boss of the band. So I was intrigued, and I was very impressed with the large drums that he was playing. And then I saw a drummer play locally in my village, and I was about 4 years old, so I was about the same height as a kick drum, and I stood right in front of the drum set, and I was blown away, quite literally, very impressed, and it really touched me, the power and the size of the instrument, and it was shiny and loud and looked amazing. And I was hooked, and I wanted to learn the drums, and I bugged my mother, and she bought me a drum. Actually, she sent me to take drums lessons right away, thinking, of course, that as soon as I have to take a lesson, I'll quit. But I had a great teacher, and I took it from there.
Any other big influences?
Ringo, Billy Cobham, Stuart Copeland, Vinnie Colaiuta, Buddy Rich, huge influence. Tony Williams, huge. Phil Rudd, and many more. Yes, I have many favorites for every style of music. So if you give me a style of music, I'll give you 10 of my favorite drummers. My first gig was with a local choir. My mom was in the local choir, and I played the bongos. I was, I think, 9 years old. And my first real sort of drum set gig was probably at age 11 or 12 with a local band playing Deep Purple cover songs and kind of old rock and roll cover songs, I was about 15, I guess, something like that, when it really hit me that this is actually a job. I could do this. And it was basically because a lot of people started commenting on my playing. It was just all fun for me, but my teacher especially, he said, you could do this. If you wanted, you could, you're good for your age. You could. And he actually I was actually 13. He then hooked me up with a teacher at the Music Academy in Vienna, which was unheard of, that a 13-year-old would go to university, and he hooked me up with a great teacher, and I took lessons and actually enrolled at 13 for the first time for a couple of years, and then I had to leave again because I didn't have my high school degree, so only with a degree you could enter university, so I had to leave again and then go back. At that time I realized that not only was this great fun and a great hobby of mine, but I could turn this into a profession, and I had some great help, like I said, from my teacher, and some people around me, other musicians who were much older than me, said, hey, you're pretty good. I think if you carry on like that, you could make it work. I did the usual thing. Regardless of where you grow up and where you come from and what your background is, I think if you want to make it somehow in the music industry, you have to start small, and take care of your little territory wherever you are, and you stumble up the ladder with time, and it's kind of what happened to me. I come from a really small village in Austria. There's no music scene there. There's no, not even a history of rock and roll or jazz or anything like that. All the music I wanted to play wasn't there. So, still I kind of made it. I found people who were doing the same thing, and I kind of, got together with the right people and worked very hard, over the years, and then started moving to places where there was music like that, like the UK, for example. And it all turned out okay for me.